My name is Talia Rubin, and I am a partner with the accounting firm Crowe Soberman LLP, the auditors of the college. I have been invited to briefly review the financial statements for the year ended December 31st, 2020. The financial statements are in the 2020 annual report and include the auditor's report, the statement of financial position as at December 31st, 2020, and the statement of operations and statements of change in net assets and related notes for the year ended December 31st, 2020. Comparative numbers for the prior years are provided for both statements. The auditor's report describes the responsibilities of the college's management and the responsibilities of the auditors with relation to the annual financial statements presented to you. As auditors, we were able to express an unqualified opinion. This is found at the beginning of the report, wherein we state that, in our opinion, the accompanying financial statements present fairly, in all material respects, the financial position of the college as at December 31st, 2020, and its results of operations and its cash flows for the year then ended in accordance with Canadian accounting standards for not-for-profit organizations. The statement of financial position is a summary of the college's assets and liabilities as at December 31st, 2020. Total assets were approximately $12.9 million, made up of cash of $4.5 million, investments of $7.2 million, equipment and leaseholds of $916,000, government remittances receivable of $82,000, and prepaid expenses of $158,000. The investments are split between short-term bonds that will be maturing in the 2021 year-end and equity investments, and long-term with bonds with maturity dates after 2021 that are staggered until September 2025. This ensures that funds will be available to the college when needed. The government remittances receivable represent the government relief program's receivables, which were received after year-end by the college. The prepaid expenses consist of the amounts paid for the next year in advance are mostly made up of prepaid rent and prepaid database maintenance. Total liabilities were approximately $6.3 million, the largest component of which is deferred revenue. Deferred revenue represents membership fees collected in 2020 for the 2021 membership year. As you know, your membership fees for the 2021 calendar year were due and payable by December 31st, 2020. Liabilities also included accounts payable and accrued charges of approximately $485,000. This represents expenses incurred in 2020 for which payment was only made in 2021. The net assets of close to $6.7 million represents total assets minus total liabilities. The amount invested in equipment, software, and leaseholds have been shown separately to arrive at unrestricted net assets or surplus of $5.7 million. This is the amount that is available for the college to use in the future to continue to operate and achieve its goals. Future requirements include future annual operating expenses, the requirement to replace equipment, furniture, software, and leaseholds as required, and the funding of future projects to be undertaken by the college to fulfill its mandate as a regulatory college. It is also important to have in reserve sufficient funds to finance any potential expensive disciplinary hearings that could arise in the future. The details of the two funds can be seen in the Statement of Change in Net Assets. The Statement of Operations summarizes revenue and expenditures for the year. Revenues exceeded expenditures by approximately $1.3 million. The surplus is in accordance with the budget prepared by Council and is higher than in the past year due to changes as a consequence of the pandemic. Council reviews the surplus annually, and if they think it is appropriate to reduce the surplus, they will budget for a deficit. Membership fees were increased slightly in 2020 in order to decrease the budgeted deficit from the prior year. The college also receives approximately $200,000 in various government relief programs. Generally, expenditures during the year were in line with those of the previous year, except for rent, legal expenses, and council and committee meetings. Your single largest expense is salaries and benefits, accounting for approximately 57% of total expenditures. Rent increased by $30,000 due to the rental increase per the lease. Legal expenses have increased by roughly $240,000 due to change in accruals estimated costs, along with the need to hire an additional external investigator during the year due to the pandemic. Council and committee meetings have decreased by approximately $190,000 as meetings were conducted online due to the pandemic restrictions. The variances of expenses in other categories are mainly because of projects undertaken in one year and not in the other, or because some projects were put on hold due to the pandemic restrictions. Many of the expenses are dependent on projects undertaken by the college in a particular year, and comparing expenses to the prior year is not always relevant. I will not bore you by reviewing each of the line items of expenditures, but we will be happy to answer any questions you may have on specific expenses. This concludes my report. If you have any questions on the financial statements, we'll be happy to answer them during the question period. Thank you very much.